Instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod.
All right, well, welcome to the Flagstick Podcast. I'm Jeff Botter. He's Scott McLeod. And this is a podcast about golf.
What is that?
I don't know.
153 episodes in, and
sometimes you just like to throw in random crap that catch people off guard. What's not crap is our sponsor this week, Srixon Golf. Srixon performance is more than just a number; it's a feeling, and one that starts with the Forge. Introducing ZXi irons with iForge, groundbreaking achievement in shaping, pressing, and heating that's taken Srixon to an entirely new level. ZXi irons from Srixon, how Forge should feel. Visit Srixon.ca for more on the full lineup of Srixon products, including the new, and I'm going to get it right, ZXi-R and ZXi-R-HL.
You got it.
Irons. Very cool new looking irons.
Yeah, great addition to the lineup.
New category for them. This is replacing the current ones we just discussed. This is an addition to us, and it's a new category, kind of following into the game improvement category with the Srixon clubs, which is awesome for them. Yeah. So
it gives the fitters another option.
The fitters,
which is really important now, because really, if you're spending money on your equipment, you should get fitted properly.
Yes, that would be a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get too deep into this, make sure you're following across all social media networks, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. And subscribe to us on Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And, of course, we encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like us and click the notification bell. Make sure you never miss a single episode of this great golf podcast.
Is this a reminder for yourself that it's a golf podcast?
No, because I'm so deep into hockey right now that I might have forgotten. It's like, now listen, coaches, when you're
God.
No, I don't forget. I just kind of
throwing
random baloney out there.
I am done coaching for the year from a volleyball perspective. So
I'm only halfway through, but I never really.
No. I meant for this season.
Oh, for the season
for 2025, not the entire year. Man, we've only had one tournament. So
we have one game tonight, and then we have another game on Friday, and then 3 practices in a row after that, right before Christmas. So Friday.
I was going to say, do you guys take a break during the holidays? Please tell me you do at some point. No.
Well, let's put it this way. The association and the league takes a mandatory Christmas holiday break between December 22nd and January 2nd. We have a tournament on January 2nd locally, so it's not a big deal.
Sure.
However, we have practice on the 22nd. We have practice on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So strategically, rather than have 3 practices in a row, I have a development practice, which includes power skating and goalie practice for our goalies. Then we have an actual practice with whatever kids are available and APs that I bring up, which are affiliate players. And then the third one is going to be, I'm going to run one of my puck control sessions that I do outside of my coaching, but I'm going to do it for my own team. So it's kind of like development and practice all rolled. So it doesn't get, if you do 3 practices
a little bit more casual.
Yeah, casual variety, because you got to do some of the skill development stuff throughout the year too, because otherwise you're just doing tactical and you're not really helping them work on their individual skills. So, but then we do have practices on the 28th. I have a 2-hour practice on the 28th and a 2-hour practice on the 30th that was extra ice that I bought for the team over the holidays, and we'll got a kind of little fun thing planned for one of them. Yeah. But there's a lot of kids away right now. Like there'll be a lot of kids away for the holidays. So
traveling, sick.
Oh yeah. I mentioned. Sick. Don't even get me started on sick.
I know. So,
wow.
Like I said to you, we have 23 girls on our volleyball program, and we had 13 for our tournament on the weekend. So now some were away at basketball and other stuff, and we encouraged them to go and play their other sports and so forth. But
of course,
definitely a few were under the weather. unfortunately.
Yeah,
So.
we've had it's been onesies and twosies. We haven't had like a multitude of players all at once, but it's like one or two sick, bring up two players. Then I get another. They come back and one goes sick and bring up another player. Then two get sick, another player, and then I get one. The last game broke his arm.
Oh no!
Oh god! Well, that's the third arm fracture of the year. The first one was a minor thing. The kid was out for a couple of weeks. The second one was a buckle fracture. The kid was out for about 2.5 weeks. This one is a break. So he's out for the 4.
Lord.
I'm like, oh God, and so, you're always at the mercy of bringing up affiliate players, but they have regular teams. So
sure, of course.
Their coaches don't stop their kids from playing up a level. And I don't do it for mine either. I always let my kids play up, but you want them to get that going up and playing at a higher level because it's good for their development, and then they bring that experience back to their own team. But you also have to feel the roster. So you kind of like, okay, you can have my player, but I got to make sure I got some bodies to fill in. Anyway,
well, speaking of holidays,
oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so. There are basically, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, there's 3 or 4 times during the year with the podcast that you kind of get a little bit excited about the show. I get excited about the show all the time, but there's a little extra vibe. One of those times is the beginning of the season. So when the snow melts and the courses are opening, you get kind of pumped and wired and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Another time during the season is majors. Anytime there's a major championship, you just get a little bit more wired up, a little bit more wound up and ready to go. Something more exciting to talk about that's, pre-event kind of thing. So another time of the year for me is this time of year, which is the holiday season, where we get to talk about we get to reflect a little bit, which we're going to do. We're going to reflect a little bit on the past season. Sure. We're going to look kind of forward a little bit. Now, we might get more into that into the first episode of the new year, but this might get into a little touch and go here. And you get to talk also about holiday gift ideas.
Yes,
or
which
holiday gifts that you might like. So we're going to, I guess the main thrust of the show is probably going to be talking about holiday gift stuff, but we're going to sprinkle in a lot of this other stuff. So it's going to be a kind of a little festive whole deal here. And I had my Santa hat and I can't find the frickin' thing.
I was wearing one Monday night for volleyball practice, and my green sequin jacket from Las Vegas. Ooh. You remember that thing? Mm-hmm. So it was very elf-like. So
I remember it.
Not so practical for coaching volleyball, but I had to break out with something else. But it was fun to start, and the kids got a kick out of it. So
exactly. All right, so that's what we got going. So let's get to it. Front Nine presented by Metcalf Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Was a great season for Metcalf Golf. It may be over, but now is the time to start thinking about next season and great golf gifts. Exciting Christmas gift specials are on right now, featuring personalized golf balls, game packages, great deals on rounds for 2 and 4, plus gift cards. Always gift cards. Visit metcalfgolf.com and stay in touch with golf savings. Pick up something for that golfer on your list.
Because golfers love gifts and they won't turn them down, and they'll always be excited about them. So
yes, no matter what it is, honest to God, golfers are nuts.
Yeah,
absolutely nuts. You're all nuts. It's all of us nuts.
Well, it's
crazy.
Funny.
Some more nuts than others, but
I said to somebody the other day, and we'll get more into golf gifts in a bit, but I said, what's kind of your favorite golf gift or whatever? And he told me about his golf bag and stuff like that. And then he asked me, and I was like, I don't really get golf gifts. I mean, I don't
either, really. Honestly, I mean, I don't.
I think people realize we sort of know you sort of have stuff. So it's like, they assume you're around it all the time. I remember getting golf gifts as a kid, but so yeah, that one's a little bit harder to kind of relate to sometimes. So, but still cool to hear people excited about what they can
absolutely. So listen, before we get too into the holiday stuff, I want to touch on something, because this is recent, exciting news. If you're a golfer in Canada and you follow the PGA Tour and you follow the Canadians that have been on the PGA Tour, like like Corey Connors and Mackenzie Hughes and Nick Taylor, and you've watched their careers, and Adam Hadwin, who kind of, I guess kind of started it all for Canadians, the more recent grouping of them, although he's
more recent grouping. So back to
we now have two more that have official PGA Tour cards for the upcoming season. AJ Ewart is now a PGA Tour member, and Adam Svensson has gotten his card for the 2026 season. Now, what's exciting about this is AJ didn't just get his card; he won the frickin' Q School.
He did,
and Adam was T2 in the same Q School. And what's even more exciting than that is Ben Silverman. I know he didn't get his card. He lost out in the playoff, but he was right there as well.
Yeah.
Like
with
this was in the top five. The top five scoring for the Q School, we had three Canadians, and Ben was the one, unfortunately, got the short end of the stick in the playoff and missed out by
a 6-foot putt that Dylan Wu made, unfortunately. So it shows a lot of what the quality of the golf has been. Actually, a neat aspect too is AJ met up the Team Canada Next Gen team, including Chase Jerome from Ottawa. We're all down there watching it because they have a tournament that's going on right now. So they were able to meet with him, and 5 of those players after the first round of the Elite Invitational are within the top 10. So, I mean, it shows you the future of the game. And obviously we had, Leah John and Maud-Émile LeBlanc got their LPGA cards for next year at the a week prior. I mean, it's hard to get to the top, and yes, it would be nice to be able to flood it with tons and tons of players, but at the Q School, where now, as you said, there's only 5 cards available, to see 3 Canadians in the top 5 of scoring is damn impressive.
Very.
So I mean, congratulations to them. AJ's cool story too for him. I mean, AJ's dad, Brad, journalist, also a PGA of Canada member, known him for a long time. So it's kind of exciting to see AJ get through it. And he skips the Corn Ferry Tour. He basically just went from PGA Tour Americas and is going straight to the PGA Tour. So, that's sort of exciting for him. And, both those guys played at Barry University, which is a Division II school in Florida. Which again, is inspiring for a lot of young players who think automatically they have to play in the biggest programs in the world. These guys played at the D2 level and were huge winners at that level, and are now, in AJ's case, first time on the PGA Tour, and Adam, who's won on the PGA Tour before. Big for him because obviously he had lost with the cut now to 100 players for the cards at the end of the year. He had lost out his full status for next year, so this guarantees that he can make a schedule for the next year, which is fantastic for him. So
unfortunately for Ben Silverman, he's gonna head back to the Corn Ferry Tour and play there, and as is unfortunately too, as is Adam Hadwin.
Yes.
Now Adam might have some a little easier time given his previous PGA Tour status, getting some sponsors exemptions, maybe, and getting into some events, and maybe he can earn his way back on that way. But Adam didn't have a particularly outstanding year, and really battled hard at the end to try to get that card back, and it just fell a little short, and fell a lot short of it, because I don't think he was really in the mix for this. But Adam's a good golfer. I'm sure he'll find his way back there eventually. One of the events I really like watching this time of year is the Grant Thornton Invitational. It's kind of cool. I mean, it reminded of, my wife was asking me, because she was watching bits and pieces of it with me, and she was asking about, the women playing with the men. And I said, well, I said they used to have an event way back when I was a lot younger called the Wendy's Three-Tour Challenge. And it was awesome, but it was individual.
Yes.
And they had the back then the Senior Tour, the Champions Tour now, the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tour. They all played different tees, but it was one event, and all playing against each other. I like this format a lot. I wish that Brooke and Corey would drop a serious scramble number so that they didn't have to fight so freaking hard on rounds 2 and 3 because they always seem to do really, really well in round 2. And then they're battling.
Not that 11 under is bad, but when other players are shooting
17 under,
yeah, I know. That's
11 under is terrible when you're with the top 2 after day 1 or 17 under par. Like, that's scramble. This brings up an interesting point. And I was afraid this was going to happen. I was going to start talking about something, and it was going to go off the rails. And
script is malleable. So.
I was watching a little social media thing because I love my TikToks. And yes, my son Brandon and my son Nolan get on my case all the time. Say, "Hey, you're watching all your TikToks, TikTok. Nobody watches TikTok." I said, "Well, somebody watches TikTok because I watch it." I don't comment on things. I just watch stuff that kind of pops up to me that's interesting. And this scramble thing came up to me. And it was about this scramble team. It was a news sort of thing saying, another scramble team shot 46 in a 4-person scramble. 46.
Net? Gross?
No, gross. And a hole in one, a bunch of eagles, a double eagle on a par 5. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And the whole theme of this was is scramble golf getting out of control. And I noticed a few of the comments, people going, "No, you're missing the point of scramble charity tournaments, scramble charity tournaments. It's not about the score, it's about the charity and all this." It's like, whoa, pump the brakes a little bit here. Yes, charity scramble is primarily about the charity. It's about you sign up, you play. It doesn't really matter who wins or anything like that. However, that kind of crap, don't tell me there's no chance that a bunch of random 4 guys when you got Bryson DeChambeau going out from the forward tees with other pros shoot and can't break 50.
Yeah.
And that's other pros playing from the forward tees. Like, come on.
I mean, he normally does it with a 2-person, but they've done some 3-persons and stuff like that. And I can tell you, as somebody who's played dozens of pro scrambles, you don't see those scores. And you've got to remember that, the scrambles that I'm playing in, when I talk about those scratch pro scrambles, they're highly regulated. If you're playing for a purse, you're playing with another team. Often you have a scorer that's with you. It's a lot different. Whereas all of a sudden, as you said, you go to some of those casual tournaments, you do-overs, people picking up putts. There's just all sorts of things. I mean, they're not cheating anyone but themselves in a lot of cases, but they're also cheating other people at the same time too. And it's just like, oh man, do you want to just earn it, or you just want to just, you want to win for the sake of winning, whether you actually won or not?
Okay, so we've been in scrambles where we know that the cheating has happened.
Oh yeah.
We were behind a group that won. I'm not even going to talk about what tournament it was because that's not right. But we were behind a group and watched them cheat.
Yeah, and
went on to victory. I played in one charity scramble that I recall, that I can remember, where I was with a random group, bunch of guys. Some guys were 20 handicaps. I was the low handicapper in the group, and we shot 17 under, and that was at the Meadows. And we played probably the white tees, which was like 5,600 yards. So we had a guy that was a 20 handicap that could hit it like 300. And I could hit it pretty good. And we had a guy that was just lights out putting. He made everything from everywhere. But that's a unique scenario. We were 17 under and won that. But that's 17 under. That's 50. That's 55.
Yeah, not 46.
Okay? Not 46.
Yeah, that's 9.
That's a whole bunch more strokes.
Yeah, so it's
And we put up a good number one year when we did the Brockville Highland tournament. We did that charity. Yeah, we played with Stephen Clark. We played with Stephen Clark, who's member of the Progressive Conservative Party and was the mayor at the time. We played with him, and we went deep in that tournament too. But that was you, me, and 2 other guys that were decent golfers. I think we were playing with Bruce Wiley in that too.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and like I said, I mean, it's all about putts and making it happen as well. But I mean, we know that, and again, I'll go back to, playing some of the fall scrambles. You're talking about players that
pros
pros that played, usually these are ones that have one pro on it, and a lot of them are ex-pros. So, you do see the occasional two on a par four. You occasionally see the hole in one, but you're not seeing multiples of those. And you're really seeing teams sometimes that have like two ex-Canadian Tour players and a current Corn Ferry Tour player, and they're not putting up those numbers. So, to think that somebody who's a 12 cap and four of them are actually shooting those numbers is just not, the probability is so slim. It's impossible. So,
rail, boom, we just fell off the track. Try to get it back on.
That's all good.
So looking at some of the things that kind of some of the themes from 2025. I guess the most prominent theme from 2025 would have to be Scottie Scheffler's dominance once again. Wins the PGA Championship and the Open in the same year, 2 majors, 6-time winner. And ends up getting voted in as Player of the Year.
Player of the Year, fourth year in a row.
Fourth year in a row. There was some I won't say backlash, but there was some chatter that he won over Rory McIlroy, and that maybe Rory should have won Player of the Year on the basis of his completing the career Grand Slam. And it's like, irrelevant. Okay, well, that's not even relevant. That's a personal achievement that was overshadowed from an awards point of view by somebody who won 3 more tournaments than he did in 2 majors. I'm glad you won the Ryder Cup. And you got your Masters victory, but your season paled in comparison to Scheffler. How this guy, in the modern era of the PGA Tour, continues to dominate the way he does. Now, I mean, we saw that domination with Tiger Woods in his day, but the level of competition for Tiger Woods was not at the same depth that it is now. There were a lot of good players that Tiger had to beat. He didn't win every tournament by 20. He outlasted players. He beat them in playoffs. He was just more consistent week to week than everybody else, which is kind of where Scheffler's at. But Scheffler has to deal with, in my opinion anyway, fields of players that there's a lot more depth.
The skill level continues to rise overall. So, I mean, as we've always said, you can't really compare eras. And you're right. And the fact that he's able to do that in this era where the players, I mean, that just shows you kind of where he's going. And, you don't see it. I mean, short of, cutting his hand and having surgery at the start of the year where we weren't sure what was going to happen. That's the only thing that sort of slows you down. So, and it looks like we're going to see more of him. He hit some balls in the old SoFi Stadium for the TGL. It looks like TGL might have the Texas Golf Club. So yeah, he was at the debut party that they had just to do some things. So you'll probably see him in a little bit of that coming up, him and Rory in that. So, but yeah, it was obviously a big year for both of those. As you mentioned, Rory winning the Grand Slam, first major in 11 years. He continues to be the needle as much as Scheffler is the player. McIlroy is the guy who draws the eyeballs more than anything. I like the fact that people are finally catching up and realizing that maybe you should be watching Scheffler a little bit more. But certainly, from a perspective of sensationalism, there will be there's always a lot more people from sort of attracted, especially I think from the non-golf. And you got to remember that Rory's obviously been around for a lot longer than Scottie. So he continues to be kind of the needle. And if you've got a tournament, and we saw that the Australian Open, for an example, he goes down there and, that makes a big difference, even though he didn't win. That's the eyeballs that are certainly on him. And, if you followed his plane around the world, that's where the TV cameras are following. But you know what? Exciting for golf. And yeah, I mean, that storylines really pushes things. And we saw that even, we'll go down to, Bryson. Here's another guy who, did a lot this year, maybe not so much on the live perspective, but from a being in the headlines and being in the storylines of golf, right, in a different way. He certainly burst his way onto the scene a lot more. And you mentioned social media and stuff earlier. He continues to be the biggest high level pro golfer, making impact on a place like YouTube, which again is an important aspect of the game and people's attraction to the game. So I
think that for Bryson, when you look at the 3 of those guys, okay, because to me that's 1, 2, and 3. when it comes to the
attention levels.
Where people are paying attention. Scheffler
on the
is
men's
the
side,
number one golfer. People are paying attention to Scottie Scheffler because he's dominating, he's winning, he's the relevant guy. Rory is the, like you said, he's the needle, he's the eyeballs. Everybody's eyeballs are on Rory because of his stature, the longevity of how long he's been playing for and how long he's been winning and staying competitive and staying at the top of his game. And then you have Bryson. If Bryson doesn't have the YouTube and the social media side of golf right now, Bryson DeChambeau to me would be not relevant. He would be being over on Live. Nobody would be paying any attention to him because nobody's paying attention to nobody's talking about Bryson because of what he's doing on Live, and nobody's
talking about how he's playing in the majors is the relevance for him right now.
But if he didn't have all of the other stuff, if all he did was pop over, play a major, go back to Live, pop over, play a major, go back to Live, his relevance would be a lot lower than it is because of what he does on social media to keep himself relevant, visible to all golfers. And then coming over and playing the majors and showing I can still play, whereas the other guys from Live, they don't do all of the other stuff that he does on social media. They come over, they play the major, they crap the bed, and they go back over to Live and play for their big money, and nobody's paying any attention. And that's so for Bryson, this is the smartest thing that he could ever have done was become this social media icon. Because as far as Rory and Scheffler go, Bryson's here when it comes to social media and that level of things, whereas their iconic status is based on PGA Tour and relevance in the regular mainstream golf news. So,
and I'm going to throw in another player here that was strong as far as the year and obviously has jumped to top levels as far as rankings. Despite the fact that he only got his first PGA Tour win this year, was Tommy Fleetwood. And I think again when we look at the engagement and fan engagement and fan recognition, he has definitely become one of those players that people pay attention to, get behind, cheer for. I don't know many people that cheer against Tommy Fleetwood, and his game stepped up this year in getting that tour championship win, and now it's like, okay, well, what's kind of next for him? So he's not there at the level of recognition that and play that some of those other players are, but he's certainly getting there, and once he breaks through with a few more wins, then maybe we can talk about him in that conversation.
Exactly. 100%. LPGA Tour. This was an interesting year because last year on the LPGA Tour, you had around about the same time that Scottie Scheffler was coming out of the gate winning and winning and winning and winning week after week. You had Nelly Korda on the other on the LPGA Tour doing the same thing, dominating week after week after week, win after win after win. And this year, she doesn't even win. And she has said kind of a so-so average year. Nobody on the LPGA Tour really jumped up. There was a lot of dominating performances.
One, but that was it.
And so you look at the LPGA Tour and you say, okay, well, there's a lot of parity right there. Because week after week, anybody could have been the one that was winning,
which was kind of cool.
I think it's awesome. I mean, it's great to see someone like Korda winning the way she did. Every once in a while, having someone come out, and dominate a season, and just say, "I got it. Sure. Everything clicked. I did everything right on the off season. My game is clicking. My swing feels good." You come out and it's like boom, boom, boom. I win, 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 win. But then everybody else says, "Nah, you can't win all the time. We want to win too." So they get back to work. And they start grinding and working on their games and improving and trying to get better. And then they come out the next year. And next thing you know, you got 20 of them that at any given time can drop a huge, a big tournament and win.
I think if you're a core golfer, I think, and you understand it, you're cool with the parity. I think some people maybe from a media storyline and stuff like that, they want to see the Tiger dominance, the Korda dominance or whatever. And in her case, obviously she's an American, so it gets a little bit more headlines in the American media or whatever. But for everyone else, like I said, the core golfer, seeing that much parity and seeing how competitive it is just shows you how much the game has risen. And it took a lot for Gino. She's a 3-time winner, but it came late in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a lot for her to kind of break out of the pack. And, she had to win that CME Group Tour Championship for the second year to really push herself up there from an earning standpoint. And then also, have that lowest scoring average in a single season since, Annika did it in 2002. But until then, it was just, new week, new winner, new week, new winner, new week, new winner. It's like, holy moly. And that made it hard for, players that had continually been in that top echelon. And, our Canadian Brooke Henderson was one of those. And, while she was playing well, she was watching her ranking go down. Not that she really was. She probably wasn't paying attention to it as much as the rest of us were. And, even when she got her 14th victory and she won her second CPKC Women's Open, it's basically kept her in kind of the top 25 because there is so much dominance on a worldwide level. And this was sort of warned I wouldn't say warned, but predicted over the years of that there were so many golfers coming in from, all around the world. And you can see it in the collegiate ranks. The players are coming from all over. And obviously Asia has a large portion of those players, but it shows you the depth that's there. And, that depth maybe wasn't there years and years ago, but certainly now it's a worldwide game, especially on, men's and women's for sure.
Yeah,
so probably more on the women's. So,
some other exciting kind of news, I guess, Tiger had a press conference, and everybody I think everybody was expecting, and he has this press conference every year. So I don't know why everybody was kind of wound up and excited over his press conference. He does it every single year at that tournament. And everybody was talking about, Tiger's, he's had another back surgery and, he's turning 50. He's eligible for the Champions Tour. He's going to make an announcement that he's playing the Champions Tour. And then it's like, he talked about it for a second. And kind of went on. It's like he just wants to play. He just wants to get back to playing golf. He just had surgery. He's just starting to chip and putt and make some short swings. He's like talking about the Champions Tour. Will Tiger play the Champions Tour? My guess is at some point or another, if he feels right, he's going to play the Champions Tour and probably play majors that he wants to play in. But other than that, I mean, I don't see this miraculous Tiger comeback where he wins again on the PGA Tour or wins a major. I mean, it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about the Champions Tour, unless he's competitive, I don't think he's going to, stay out there for that long. And you have to realize now these players are great players that are out there. It's not like he's going to go out and just tip it up and they're going to hand him a trophy.
No, and he's going to struggle. There's no question.
And as a result of that, it's like, unless you have some game, the same kind of game that you would have brought to the PGA Tour, you're not going to be, ultra competitive. And I don't think he wants to go out there and kind of be ceremonial. So I'm going to go back just a bit here because I just want to mention one thing. Anna Huang from Canada, 16 when she got onto the tour last fall, just turned 17, but she won twice on the Ladies European Tour this year. She's now the second highest Canadian woman in the world rankings, only at 17 as a pro. So, got to make note of that for 2025 because that's pretty damn impressive. And, just shows you again, the talent level that we're seeing, the depth here in Canada. So
exactly. The PGA Tour, I guess last thing before we take a break here, the PGA Tour Live saga, if you want to call it that. I mean, I've completely forgotten about it, to be honest with you, but it continues to kind of, and if anybody thought there was a merger imminent, this might pretty much just be tanking it. Live changes the format for 2026 to 72 holes. Now, obviously, this is their way of starting to position themselves to grab world ranking points, because that was one of the stumbling blocks that they had. I still don't think, and this my own opinion, and I'm allowed to have it, I still don't think that just going to 72 holes makes any difference, because you're still doing scramble format, or like you can't do shotgun tournaments and expect to think that that's a level playing field, because you have to start on the same holes. You have to finish on the same hole. Like everybody's got to play the same tournament. When you're starting on opposite holes, that's a different golf course for each day. Like it's just the whole thing is just, and I can predict myself. There's probably going to be players that are in LIV right now that are going to start leaving and coming back.
Oh
to
yeah,
the
the
PGA
contracts are going to be over, and
they made their money.
Yeah.
Now they want to come back and play the real tour. And don't anybody try to tell me that LIV is a real tour. It's not.
No, and you got to consider though too. There's a whole bunch of things that kind of go into that as far as the rankings and stuff. I mean, if you just go and sign a contract and you're on that tour, you haven't earned your way onto that tour. So again, that plays into the OWGR, which obviously are skewed right now because a lot of players that are out there. I don't get excited when all of a sudden, like I did 2 days ago, get a press release that one player is changing teams. This is not F1, people. You might think it is, but it's not going to work as far as that's concerned. I don't, at some point, yes, I know they've got all the money in the world, but at some point it's like, when does this just become a bad hobby and we see something change? And the cool part is PGA Tour's got a lot of investment now, and they've got a lot of plans, and they don't feel like they're pressed. And you, like many other people, have sort of forgotten about some of the players that are out there. Hey, it's great to see Mark Leishman and Cam Smith play in the Australian Open, but I don't need to see them every week for my golf viewing to be complete.
No, so, and I will say this. I saw an interview with Greg Norman the other day, and as arrogant as this guy comes across most of the time, I will say this. I do think that LIV did achieve one thing. And if it achieved anything, it sort of forced the PGA Tour to push forward things that maybe they weren't planning on pushing forward with respect to different types of events, more money into the purses, more money into the PGA Tour, focusing more on the players as individuals as opposed to looking at them as employees. There are some things that I think it might have helped push that might have gotten there at some point or another anyway with the right players pushing.
Competition does that.
Yeah. So that might have helped the PGA Tour and the players on the PGA Tour, and LIV might have been something that sort of pushed that a little bit.
Sure,
but it was never threatening the PGA Tour's existence. So
I don't think so.
And it's definitely not threatening it now.
No.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the maybe what some of our expectations for 2026 are, but primarily we're going to talk a little bit holiday gifts. Which is always fun to do. So stay with us. You are listening to and watching the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod.
How do you forge pure? With more pressure, more precision, more focus, more control. ZXI irons, pure forged, pure Srixon.
All right, well, welcome back to the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. Yes, this is a podcast about golf. All right, speaking of golf, the back nine presented by Falcon Ridge Golf Club. The transition is now complete, and the indoor golf season has arrived at Falcon Ridge. Their simulators are open 7 days a week, starting at 8 a.m. and shutting down at 11 p.m., though I'm sure if you're in there hitting golf balls, they'll let you stay a little longer. They have 4 TrackMan simulators featuring over 400 golf courses, including many PGA Tour courses that you would be familiar with. They also have beverages and light food available, should you so desire. To book your tee times on one of the 4 TrackMan sims, visit falconridgegolf.ca. Scott just informed me as we came out of our little break there that there's been some breaking news on the LIV Golf Tour. Apparently the Majestics, is that the name of it? The Majestics?
Yep, that's the team.
Re-signed Ian Poulter. And who else?
Lee Westwood.
Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter. Right. They have re-signed the 49th,
46th, and 48th ranked players out of 61.
This is,
remember, if you're 49th and down, you get relegated. So, or possibly relegated.
Let's be serious, people. Let's go. I am so stoked to see Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter. You know what the sad part is? I'm going to tell you what the sad part is for me, and then we're going to get into some talk about real golf. The sad part is for me, the level of respect that I had for players like Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter as career professional PGA Tour and European Tour. Like, my God, Ian Poulter is like a Ryder Cup legend.
Yeah, as Westwood is. These guys are 10, 11 Ryder Cups.
Now all I think about is being re-signed to the Majestics on the Live Tour. And again, I'll go back and say I have zero issue whatsoever in any of these players going to
chase the money and help yourself.
The money. But I get that, but this is just like.
But you got to live with the consequence. Oh my God. Poulter's 7-time Ryder Cup, or Westwood was 11-time. And obviously, Poulter had some amazing success as far as being a leader in that. So being a needle, but yeah, I mean, if you look at their amount of wins and stuff, what I get a kick out of is like, I get it. They have an amazing legacy. They had incredible careers. Westwood at this point, is 52, and Poulter's, in the 40s. But the thing is like, even try to make out a press release like this is a massive story. Yeah, it's like I just see it come into my inbox, and I just like I cringe.
This isn't Quinn Hughes signing with the Minnesota Wild.
No, these are players at the end of their career, and it's like, okay,
this would be like an announcement. This wouldn't even be as good of an announcement as Tiger Woods. If Tiger Woods signed with the Majestics, that would be a huge press release.
Yeah, but they're just making it out like it's F1 parallels. So and so has gone to this team and whatever. It's like, oh God, these are not even competitive players at this point. It's like
my brain cells are.
Let's go on to
losing brain cells. All right, let's get into some discussion. I got some talk a little bit about expectations for 2026. Now we'll probably jump into this conversation on our first podcast of the new year. Yeah. Which incidentally, is this our last one of the? I think so.
Yes, sir.
This is it. This is the last one before the end of the 2025 season. Because yes, people, we do take Christmas off.
We need a nap.
Yeah, a long one. A long one. Let's start on the men's side of things. Okay, so what players and stories do we think are going to dominate? The discussion. Is it going to be more of the same? Like, are we basically looking at this going, what kind of conversation are we going to have? Scheffler's going to win 8 times. Fleetwood might win another tournament. Rory's going to be Rory,
another major. I think you're going to see a lot of that. I think the one portion that maybe we get excited about is maybe seeing some other players step up. That could be a Canadian, that could be a Corey Connors, that could be a Nick Taylor who just won for his 5th time this year or whatever. So I think the thing is for me, I expect sort of the same out of the Scottie, Rory, Tommy. As you mentioned, maybe there's some players that come back to the fold. The hard part is that we have less new players because of that sort of top 100 now, and there's less sort of cards that are available, but we do have some players that have obviously risen from the Corn Ferry Tour. So, will any of those make a significant impact? So at the PGA Tour, DP World Tour level, I think it's, I think we're going to see a lot of the same is my sense of it. That would be my guess straight out. But I would hope that, maybe for Tommy, now that he's kind of got off the schneid and got that tour win, that maybe we see a few more wins coming from him. So
I kind of feel the same way. I don't know that looking at what's players are going to be on the tour in 2026, I'm not so sure that we're going to see anything drastically different than what we saw in 2025. I think Scottie, just finished playing quite well this past, not this past weekend, but the weekend prior, to kind of finish out his 2025 season, I guess. Right in contention again, albeit a smaller field event, but still right in contention. Rory still continues to play top level, elite level golf. And you're right. Tommy, to me, is probably the one that's going to be the biggest question mark is, can he win more now that he's won once, or with all that pressure off, is he now going to just relax and take home a few more trophies and get and be more relevant on the PGA Tour?
Yeah,
it's hard to say. It really is, because you guys still got a lot of other guys that Schauffele's still there, and you got a lot of new faces. You got a lot of new faces coming in. Like it's. But
yeah, like what's a healthy Schauffele look like, and again,
that's it. He was dominant at one point, and then
injuries.
Wasn't.
And injuries, rib injuries, so forth. And I mean, I think injuries are a big factor here. I mean, Justin Thomas obviously just had back surgery as well. And, as these players start to age a little bit, maybe get some other injuries. I mean, one of the things I'd like to see Jordan Spieth kind of return to form a little bit.
I don't think I honestly don't think he's going to. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think he's
it's a long road
for him. I think he's going to continue to drift backwards. I think he's going to follow the same pattern a bit like Ricky Fowler. It's going to be up and down and not consistent. And
I mean, Spieth, again, that's some of that has been injury related. So that's the hard part with that. And people have to realize that when everybody gets excited about players bursting onto the scene, they have to understand that injuries will happen, and that is always the X factor. And nobody is guaranteed sort of anything. So as these players again start to age up more and maybe kind of shift gears a little bit in their careers, who are those young and exciting players that are going to come up and get the multiple wins? And like a Marco Penghi, who did amazing in the DP World Tour, got his card for PGA Tour, hits it 1,000,000 miles, and he could be an exciting guy. On the other side of it, his game might not translate. He might come over to the US and not be very comfortable, and then turn tail and head back to Europe. So I guess that's always the hope. It's sort of like the Christmas Eve, where you're kind of waiting to see what sort of happens on the other side. And same for this. It's like, okay, what is going to happen? But you can certainly look at those players, the Scotties, the Rorys, as the cornerstone of probably what will happen throughout the year. I mean, who knows? Maybe a JJ Spawn, who won a US Open, maybe he drives more confidence from that. Does he move from being a one-off major winner to winning more? Hard to say. Russell Henley, here's a guy who jumped into the top sphere of the world, but again, he's sort of like a forgotten sort of guy. But can he all of a sudden jump out and win a major or two and really go from being a journeyman, top quality player, good ball striker, known within the community, but known more by fans, right? So
and what about somebody like Keegan Bradley? With the pressure of the Ryder Cup off of his shoulders,
sure.
Does he kind of go back to the way he was playing leading into the Ryder Cup, with all the conversation about whether he'd be a playing captain? Does he become that player again? Does he start to play more consistent? I mean, this is a guy that played extremely well for long periods of his career, including right up until he didn't choose himself for the Ryder Cup. So,
but you also wonder what the distraction levels are too, because you're talking about a guy who's 39, you got young kids, and it's like, okay, what's the intensity level? I mean, obviously he's been very intense, and he obviously loves to win, but as players move on in their career and they have other priorities, they're going to maybe not spend as much time on the range. I mean, for some of them that might be good, right?
Some of them, the range is in the backyard.
Yeah, but it's exactly it. So, but it's hard to say as far as what that could, I mean, he might have a lot more wins left in him, but it's kind of not sure. But I think the bulk of the interest or the excitement is maybe not going to come from the veterans. It's going to come from the younger cadre of players that are up and coming and that are making themselves known. And, maybe the ones that have made the leap from, like a Michael Brennan, who obviously got a tour win, jumped from PGA Tour Americas right in there, played very well with Charlie Hull in the first round, and then obviously backed up a little bit. But, what's the potential for that player to stack up some wins and to draw fan eyeballs? So
it's hard to say. Okay. Quickly, 6 events on the PGA Tour Americas that are in Canada this year. What's the future of tour golf in Canada? I don't want to spend too much time on this, because I think a lot of these topics, are things we might push into that first episode of the new year. But, is this sort of getting to the point now where PGA Tour Americas is going to be less Canada and more Americas? Is it going to become a drop down Corn Ferry Tour kind of deal where, most of the events are played in south of our border?
Yeah, well, we're seeing a new event in the US, and again, we'll just talk briefly about this. But the difficulty and the challenge becomes for this tour as the as it's part of that system, the costs have gone higher and higher to run these events. And I think that's one of the difficult parts is that, it's harder and harder for a community to support these events. And as a result of it, we've seen turmoil in the schedule over the years as events have gone in and out. But I think what that means is like, okay, what is the future, not so much of the PGA Tour Americas, but what kind of space or, opening does this create for some of the other smaller tours from a development side in Canada. So we'll talk more about that as we get
for sure, definitely
January. But is this an opportunity for the East Coast Pro Tour and the Vancouver Golf Tour and other stuff to kind of make up for those players that are aspiring that can't get spots on those tours or not have enough events to play in? So,
sure. Okay. So touching quickly also on women's golf, on the women's side of things, given what we talked about earlier on about there being so much parity on the LPGA Tour and less dominance and more, different winners every week, different people in contention every week. Is that the trend that we're going to see moving into 2026 with the LPGA Tour, or are we going to see players like Gino and Nelly and whoever else might step up and dominate the LPGA Tour again and get somebody who gets 6 or 7 or 8 wins on the LPGA Tour? Like, I think it's going to stay the way it is. Again, I think it's going to be more parity. I think if you look at collegiate women's golf and those players that are coming and being added to the LPGA Tour, the depth of the LPGA Tour is fast becoming so vast that I don't think that there's going to be a dominant player anymore. I think that, players like Nelly, yes, Nelly's getting older too. She's not old by any means, but she's more of a veteran player now. And those veteran players are going to start to get pushed down a little bit by these new up and coming. And these new players coming from collegiate golf, these new women are really, really good. Like really good golfers, and they're going to take those spots and they're going to start winning and contending. And I think you're just going to continue to see that trend, as I think we're going to start to see with the PGA Tour more and more too. I think once the Schefflers and the Rorys and the, those guys start to get pushed out, and the younger generation of players start to continue to move in, I think you're going to start to see that depth start to spread out too, and you're going to see week-to-week winners as opposed to week-after-week winners.
Yeah, you might see a 2- and 3-time winner in a season, but it's going to be harder and harder to have those big bursts of seasons because there's just so many players that are there, and that's a difficult part on the media side of it, is even keeping up with how many players that they are, and especially in the women's game. So I think you'll see the depth that's there as long as the players stay out there, because again, we're seeing retirements for different reasons and so forth, costs to stay out there, so forth. But you're also seeing players there's a little bit more money out there for the top players. So you're also seeing them manage their schedules a little bit differently now, which means, they don't have as many opportunities to win if they're not playing in those tournaments. So
exactly. All right, let's jump ahead to the festive season that it is.
Yeah, sounds great.
Now, you recently posted up on flagstick.com favorite 19th holes in golf. Now, I guess this is kind of festive in a way, but it's up there. What's your personal faves that you spend some time at, around after golf? For me, just quickly, I don't really have any, this is my go-to after a round of golf, because when we travel, we've seen a lot of 19th holes, but we're usually
too tired to hang out in them.
We're usually finishing off and running to the van, jumping in and heading to the next golf course or the next hotel. So I really haven't had many opportunities to really enjoy the 19th hole. Around here, I don't really have one in particular that I love to go to. I think the one that I think one of the ones I like a lot around here is at Rideau View.
Yeah, the patio
the patio, or even the 19th hole at the back side of the clubhouse that they recently Well, they didn't recently do it. It's been
a few years ago.
But it's cool in there. There's a few of them that I've been in, but nothing that really, for me, that I spend much time in the 19th holes.
I put this in the category from the festive side of it, things, because it's sort of like, I like the get-togethers at Christmas time. People getting together, maybe they go to the pub, have a beverage or two, hang out, chatter, which is a real highlight for some of those golf trips. I would say, and you've been there as well, but on a personal trip, going in Scotland and going to the Dunvegan and just hanging out there with some people and stuff, or the Deuce at Pinehurst, the patio on the back side of it. There's just places where you feel like you just want to hang out, enjoy the company of other people, BS a little bit, chat about your golf stories. People are, asking questions here and there. You get to know people a little bit better. And I think that's the real key to those 19th holes. We had some good feedback from some people on social media mentioning some other ones, but yeah, you're right. I've got 6 of them that are up there just to consider, and I'd love to hear some from some other people.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm sure people have been, I said, personally, I've been to so many over the years that I couldn't possibly just pick one and say this is my favorite. The ones at Pinehurst, obviously, both at the resort and at the clubhouse, were awesome. In Scotland was awesome. A lot of the road trips we've been on, there's been some really cool ones that we've frequented. But
like you said, we end up being too tired at the end of it.
That looks nice.
I might have one beverage and I'm out.
All right. So let's talk a little bit. We got some time here. Let's talk a little bit about some holiday gift ideas. Now, the thing is right now, I think that one of the hottest gift ideas right now is anything high tech that's game improvement. I know there are so many of these, first of all, there's so many different launch monitor / simulator systems that are available. I have one here. I have an FC4 Pro that I use because it's very portable. It has the ability to use the E6 Connect simulator system with it. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe I will at some point, but I used it a few times. Just I have a hitting net here, checking some numbers. There are the Garmin ones. There's so many, and I feel like everybody I talk to anymore, golfers, are talking about wanting to get one, hoping they get one, planning to get one. Like everybody wants to do this stuff now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think, if we think back over the years when people would have their own, setup at home with the nets and stuff like this, well, now they can quantify things, and the technology has become a little bit more accessible from a cost standpoint. Obviously there's various levels of it, but for most people, some of them are only after some basic type things that they're after. And if they get that feedback, they're perfectly fine. The fact that it can integrate with something that you can actually play some simulated golf obviously makes it better for everyone. So, you're going to see that on a lot of people's lists, whether that's an affordable option or not. That's a different story. You might see some people giving that to themselves more than anything. Because
oh my gosh, look at what's in my stocking.
Yeah, it's exactly it. So, although, the spouse might say, hey, you know what, you're a golf nut, I don't want to hear about it, just go to the garage and go hit balls and get out of my way. That might be part of it too. But anything from a tech side of it, I think that portion of it, even we talk about apps and different availability of different things, subscription services and so forth related to data and so forth. People are using those stuff all the time now, and that has become an integrated part of the game. And golf geeks are golf geeks. They just want to dive deeper and deeper into it. So, we look at things like, shot tracking systems, and there's physical ones, but there's also ones where people are entering stuff in. So that becomes a suggestion. And like I said, when we started talking about this is probably one of the number one things that we get response during the year. Like I get inundated with DMs, emails, phone calls, text from people going, hey, so-and-so, or hey, my wife is talking about this club. What is this thing? Or whatever. And or my partner or whoever it is. Yeah. And you end up sort of being a gift service a little bit, which we're happy to do. Because it's
for a fee, of course.
Yeah, because it becomes more confusing for people as there's more stuff out there, and they want their partner, spouse, family member, whoever to be happy with the gift that they get, and they don't want to just go back to the same things that they were giving year after year. So, GPS watches, rangefinders, again, that's from a technology standpoint. We're seeing a lot of those. Just again, anything technology related is certainly gotten up there in demand for sure.
Yeah, and if you get a rangefinder, just don't get one with slope.
I think they're all pretty. I mean, the thing is, the features of those have gotten crazy as well, whether it's wind meters in them, tracking for particular distances.
Oh, it's insane. Weather, I was just say weather. Now they have weather in them. It's like, oh my gosh. Like,
and again, connecting them back to software and so forth. And look, not everybody is into it. That's people have to realize, but that's the cool part about golf is that it's a palette for everybody to choose kind of how they want to play the game, and that makes it neat versus back in the day when you had very limited options of kind of what to buy a golfer. It was like, oh, here's another, not that we're not going to dissuade them from buying golf balls, but here's another sleeve of balls, and they're like, oh great, or whatever. But now it gets a little bit more exciting as far as what your options are out there.
I would certainly not be the biggest advocate to tell people to go buy a rangefinder. I'm not there. I don't use one.
F is anti-rangefinder if people need to know.
Yes,
but anyways, that's another
very
topic
much so, but not anti. I'm anti for me. I guess.
There you go. That's fine.
Okay, so let's talk about something a little bit more. Well, I guess luxury is the
essentials. There is some premium stuff that's
there, so your beginner golfers or your I guess your weekend golfers, your high handicappers, when you're buying golf balls, I guess the go-to for most people that are, looking for the value, you try to find the 18 packs and the 24 packs of a decent golf ball because you probably tend to lose more than you find.
Sure. But as a gift,
you want to give someone the gift of something a little bit more on the high end side.
Something maybe special.
Kick them a Pro V1 sleeve or a dozen or Srixon Z Stars or whatever. Like TP5s. Give them something a little bit more on the high end side. Let them taste it. See, maybe they like it. Let them taste it. It's like you could give them the Wagyu. Or you could give them the outside rump steak and let them chew into that, or let them let it melt. One or the other. I mean, I don't know if that's the best analogy to use, but
I just remember always when we were in the retail side of things, and people would come in and they're like, "I have no idea. I need to
get two Herbalatas.
I just need whatever's the best. I need whatever they're going to open up and go, wow. And
can you
that's
find
really
Herbalatas anymore, do you think?
They don't exist.
Like anybody, maybe somebody has some like stuck in a warehouse somewhere.
They would be shrunk.
Too bad that dude in Montreal wasn't still in business, or is he still in business? Centre de Golf or whatever,
he's not in.
He probably would still have a dozen two Herbalatas.
But even if premium golf balls, something that's customized, something that's funny, don't always just get their name on it or whatever. But some of those things are neat, and certainly golfers have to use golf balls, so it's going to get used. It's not going to get thrown in the closet. How's that? But if you buy them crappy golf balls that they're used to playing all the time, they're probably going to go, oh, great. But if they get something that maybe they wouldn't splurge for themselves, then that tends to be. I
saw one of the coolest things. I'm an Amazon shopper. I like to shop on Amazon. There are some drive around personal things that I like to pick up from time to time. But
is it a dozen of these?
What is that?
Amazon golf balls. I'm doing a test on them. So they make Amazon golf balls now.
I know Amazon that. Prime. I'm just crazy. But yes,
gotta do it for the audience, man. Gotta do it for the audience.
So I saw this thing. It was a custom golf towel. Okay, on Amazon. So you customize the towel on Amazon. You can take any image or any picture that you want. So you can design your own golf towel.
Sure.
And you upload the image to this customizer on Amazon, and they show you a preview of your image and everything. It looks good, and you order. It's like $10. It's going to be the crappiest towel. I guarantee it's going to be. It says it's the waffle style microfiber towel, whatever. It's like 16 by 24. It's going to be a piece of crap. I know it, but for $10. So what do you
customize and put on? Like, I mean,
whatever you want. You can come up with your own design. I mean, people want their own custom stuff all the time. So
I know, but you got to remember, you're wiping your dirty golf clubs on it, so it's not like you're going to put the face of your kid on there or your.
No, but I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do that. I would do like a custom. Maybe I have a nickname or something. Like maybe my nickname is Bowser, and I put a graphic image of a friggin' dog with my nickname Bowser. Like have the little custom Google Drawings design or something like.
Yeah. You know? No, I could get that. I get that. All I'm saying is, I mean, from a warning perspective, if you're not a golfer and you're giving a golf gift to somebody else, don't necessarily, like the spouse, don't put your face on the towel.
Yeah, put your face on the towel. You don't have to use it. You just hang it on your bag.
Oh, it's not a flag.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so like I said, high-end golf bags, like a vessel stand or something really kind of cool, little cooler packs, and like there's a lot of really cool golf stuff out there for I know you go and you look at your husband or your wife's bag and you're like, okay, I don't know if they really need a new golf bag or not. Doesn't matter. Yeah. If they need a new one or not, you can get them one. They're still going to use it.
Yeah,
they're still
sure.
You know, especially if you find their favorite color or something like that. I think
the fact that you cared enough to buy into their hobby will make a difference.
Get them a Sunday Red hoodie. I was looking at these things online. The Sunday Red. Nothing special about these hoodies, to be honest with you. I mean, the material's probably outstanding. They're probably high premium quality stuff with the little tiger logo on it. If you want to spend $250 on a hoodie, it's probably going to have grape juice and ketchup stains all over it. Go for it. That's a gift thing. I would never go out and actually buy a $250 hoodie, but I think I would take one if someone gave it to me.
Yeah, I think that's the secret for this from a gift perspective. There's a lot of times people will, they'll pine after something and they won't buy it for themselves. And when they receive it as a gift, again, it's like, oh, okay, well, thank you. That's
Chris, I would love to have something I've never had in my entire golf existence. I would love to have a simple
rangefinder. Yes, I'll get you one.
Stop with the rangefinder. A yardage book, maybe a green reading book. Maybe get me a long putter so that I can, a cheater stick. I want a Washington Capitals head cover. I'm a Washington Capitals fan. I've been a Washington Capitals fan forever. I got lots of Washington Capitals. Look at my shelf over here. Everybody take a look. See the shelf?
So am I going to clip this and send this to your wife?
I would imagine she's probably already done, but something simple. Like it's not terribly expensive. They might be like $50-$60, maybe less. Just a Washington Capitals so I can proudly display on my golf bag that I'm a Washington Capitals fan with the head cover on my driver or my fairway wood or even on my putter, like a putter cover. I mean, I got putter covers, but anyway, something simple like that.
I'm looking at one right now.
Well, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
All right.
Yes. Maybe someone's already got me one this year. I have dropped a couple hints. So let's just wait and see what happens. I did throw a couple. Yeah. Okay. So we got about a little bit of time left here. So something for the house. It's kind of a cool idea. So like an indoor putting mat.
Yes.
Or one of those ones. You see one of those ones that have the little, this is crazy. Sorry. I saw one that has the air pumps underneath it.
That's from Putt Out. Yeah, it's been around for a couple of years.
And it changes the brakes. So you got to walk all the way around it. You'd think there'd be a more automatic way of doing it where you could, with an app, automatically.
Well, there is, but they get very expensive with.
And if you're gonna if you're gonna go that route, you gotta pay. Yeah. You got to go expensive. Don't cheap it out on your putting mat. This is your livelihood here. Okay. Putting is the most important part of your game. You got to drop the putts so you don't cheapen out. Yeah. Spend money on a putter, spend money on a putting mat for in your house.
Yeah, that's the air brake one from Putt Out, and Putt Out makes some good ones. Well Putt also makes some great mats as well, ones that run. I mean, that's the one thing. I will say this. I mean, while some people might appreciate it, if you buy just a really like the most basic putting mat, it's not going to get used because usually the fiber on it's really terrible.
Get it the thick. It's got to be thick. Like it's got to have the not a piece of turf. Like
yes, it's got to have, and like the well putt ones are, you'll see that, you know, while they're not thick, but the turf, as far as when you're putting over it, you know, the fibers of it, the ball rolls really, really well across it. Whereas you get the ones that are cheap and they look like just indoor outdoor carpet. They look, they'll putt on it for like, you know, 2 weeks and then that'll be done. It'll get thrown in the closet somewhere, or it's going to be at a garage sale pretty soon. So if you're going to get a good one, get a better one, because, you know, if they want to spend some time on this and you want to get rid of them for a few hours every Sunday while you can go and do other things, then, you know, get a quality one here. And, you know, quality one doesn't have to be crazy. Some of the well putt ones or whatever will just, you know, kind of between $100 and $200. So,
So even like a cool backyard golf game is a good idea too. Something you can do with some buddies, you know, in the backyard. A little chipping thing doesn't have to be with real golf balls. Can be with the little wiffle balls. Could be one of those mats that have the Velcro on it, and you know you're hitting it into targets, or one of those baskets that have. I have one of those baskets you unfold like a lawn chair, and it has the different target areas, points and stuff, and you can chip real balls into it. Those are kind of cool. A book is like, if you're a golf enthusiast, golf nut, you love books. I know you love books.
I have a few.
My son Brandon loves anything book, architecture books, like loves just looking at pictures, reading stories of old historic stuff. You know, it just that's kind of the coolest thing too. So if you're a golf enthusiast and you have an absolute golf nut job in your family, get a book or two books.
And I think there's something special about that, because I think, you know, we're in such a digital world that sometimes the book is a little bit more tangible. It's something you kind of reference back all the time. There's some great instruction ones. You can go up to flagstick.com and just put in books in our search bar, and you will find a whole bunch of suggestions for different books over the years that, you know, golfers are going to be happy with in various categories. But again, it can be a coffee table book. It could be something that just
don't Kindle.
Don't
Kindle. You know, there's just something about having the book,
something tangible.
Yes, right? Get the book. Don't you Kindle.
I agree. You can do it. You can do it some other time, but
Kindle for yourself. Don't Kindle for someone else.
Golf art too. I mean, we mentioned that in there, but you know, a lot of people would like to have some golf art on their walls in their office, whatever the case. You know, don't be shy on that. Kind of make sure it's something that's sort of maybe relevant to the player. There's a lot of stock stuff out there that's just terrible and cheesy. But you know, try to get something that maybe it's their favorite golf course or a destination or something related to that. Painting, photography, or whatever would probably be very much appreciated. So
okay, and lastly, let's take a look just really quickly at stocking stuffers. This is probably the easiest category if you're looking to get golf stuff for a golfer on your list. This is the easiest, because you can go down the simplest road. You could probably go to golf retailer and walk up to their cash register and just stand in line, and you can just start grabbing crap off the shelf, because it's like, okay, I got a divot tool with a smiley face on it, or I get a little ball marker that you clip on the hat or whatever. Golf gloves, you can get. FootJoy has their Weather Soft 2-packs that they do all the time, but if you want something a little better, little leather, you know, you can get like every brand
lots
possible.
Of brands.
Tricks on TaylorMade, Titleist, FootJoy, you know, whatever.
They're always used.
Women's, juniors, like, and a golf glove is like an essential consumable. For the majority of us golfers, we wear through these things. We leave them out when they're wet and they get dried out. We need gloves. So I guarantee you cannot go wrong. Find out what the hand is, or at least make sure you can exchange it after Christmas. Golf glove is perfect. Hey, look, head covers is on the list. Washington Capitals, you know, Toronto Maple Leafs. If you're a goof, You know, what did I say? Something weird?
Oh, that's gonna hit hard. I can't wait for the comments on that one.
Bring them. All the comments in the world will be welcome. Just you know, I'm just basing that comment on history.
Yeah. So one of the things that I will add in here is, you know, people do talk about it all the time, is things like, you know, gift cards and so forth. Yeah. What I will say, and I've got something coming out in a couple of days for Flagstick.com, is when you're doing the gift cards, don't ignore gift cards from the pro shop where your loved one plays golf, because they tend to be applicable for rounds of golf, merchandise,
cart rentals,
all sorts of things that are relevant to them, versus just the, and no offense to any off-course store, but the off-course store only provides a certain amount of things, whereas this is where they're going all the time. Yep. And a lot of pro shops now will offer e-cards that can be emailed directly to the person, and they're going there, they're using food and beverage, like I said, they're in the pro shop, they're, you know, green fees, carts, as you said, lessons, all sorts of different things. Yep. So it tends to be a little bit more valid for them. So don't ignore that, and just, you know, try to be, you know, simple and go to the big box store, because, you know, those ones will be a little bit more versatile for them, I think.
There you go. Words of wisdom from one Scott McLeod.
There we go.
All right. Well, that about puts a wrap on our holiday gift ideas and our call it our holiday podcast episode. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy holidays to you, Mr. McLeod, though we will be speaking, I'm sure, before then. We are out until the new year, where we will be back with some more great golf stuff to talk about, particularly in the new year, about the new year. And we want to thank everybody for listening and watching us all season long, all up to this 153rd episode. We've been happy to be here bringing all this content to you. And I guess what? We're going to be doing it again in 2026. So
got it.
Thank you for that. Thank you to our sponsors, Metcalf Golf Club, Falcon Ridge, and our presenting sponsor this week and many weeks, Srixon Golf. Srixon Performance is more than just a number. It's a feeling, and one that starts with the Forged. Introducing the ZXi irons with iForged, a groundbreaking achievement in shaping, pressing, and heating that's taken Srixon feel to an entirely new level. ZXi irons from Srixon, how forged should feel. Visit Srixon.ca for more, and the full lineup of Srixon products, including their new ZXi R and RHL irons. Hopefully you have been enjoying watching and hearing what we're bringing to you each and every week. Be sure to follow us across all of our social media networks, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Subscribe to us on Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And do not forget that YouTube channel. Like us, click that notification bell, and make sure you never miss a single thing that we post up there. Get over to flagstick.com for more amazing golf content brought to you every single day. And be sure to subscribe to the Flagstick Digest newsletter. And always appreciate you tuning in. But until next week, I'm Jeff Botter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Always remember, go for the stick.